Right, everything I upload now gets sits in monetization limbo until they manually approve it. It's funny, you go to an Antifa party, and the three people you enrich with 60 grain 223 freedom pellets happen to be felons. What are the odds on that? Well, at an Antifa BLM party, it turns out that the odds are 1 out of 1. So Kyle Redpill, the normies, Kenosha Ritterhouse. Will the normie ever wake up to the fact that the media is the enemy of the people? You go from noticing the media has a left-wing bias to noticing that they don't seem to like people of European descent to noticing that they really don't like Europeans, like it's pathological, to finally realizing that the media outright lies or lies by omission to push a narrative. The Sandman case was a big red pill on the media. They flat out lied because Sandman was a fair-skinned person. There were multiple angles of video showing the alcoholic Vietnam-era veteran. He seemed to change his story. He flat out did change his story a few times. Assaulted a group of school children. The media only showed the angle where the alcoholic idiot was in the kid's face. The blue checkmarked sociopaths wished violence upon a child who stood silently without ever showing the whole footage or seeing the whole footage. Yeah, we have an istophobic problem in America, but it's against the beautiful people of the light. The social media platforms and mainstream media are anti-white, and the sooner we get people to normalize talking about this hatred, the sooner we can dismantle and deconstruct these oppressive anti-white systems of power. America is looking at the Sandman case and how the media flat out lied, and they're wondering what else the media lies about. To call the media the lying enemy of the people that they are, the pestilence, the vermin, is right on the boundary of wrongthink on YouTube because the media is pushing a narrative that Google is also pushing. Because logically, once you show that the source, the media, is a liar, then you can discount everything the mainstream media pushes, which Google does and they want you to do, which is one of the reasons they said that they're eating the dislike button on the YouTube pages, because the media and White House is lying to us and we know it. If you see a source is a liar, then it doesn't matter if they're saying something that you happen to agree with this time. You can't use them to advance your argument because they're liars. It's like building something on sand. The Sandman case wasn't the media shading a story into an anti-white or anti-Christian conservative perspective. It was the media lying in an attempt to destroy a kid's life because of his ethnicity. If Sandman was Mexican or African or even Asian, the story, there's not much protection for the Asians because the media is starting to turn on them, but it just doesn't advance their anti-right narrative to show Asians. That's why they don't cover the Asians being victimized in cities. That's in and out of the media very, very quickly because it's the wrong narrative, because it's not white people who are attacking Asians. The story would have been in and out of the news in like a nanosecond. They would have described it as a brief encounter and then moved on to a different story. What was the story here? An alcoholic, insane man walks up to a group of Catholic children, and acts like an alcoholic in the midst of the DTs. It should not have been a big story. The police should have arrested the drunk idiot for assault. Shouting in someone's face is assault. You're not generally allowed to come within 10 feet and yell at somebody. And that would be that. Assault is fearing the imminent battery, which is a harmful or offensive touching. Dealing with the mentally ill is just part of life in a city. That's why you keep pepper spray handy. Well, when you get attacked, pepper spray them and run. After the Sandman case, we should have had a talk about the issue of the media control of the narrative. But how? The Marxist media isn't going to talk about the Marxist media. Even if you sued CNN into bankruptcy, Soros would simply start another media company. Think about this. There is no nationalist or far-right mainstream media. The media is either Fox, moderate, or globalist. If you control the movement of information and the money, then you control the system. It's amazing that even after Sandman, the media propaganda hasn't changed. They paid out to him for defamation, but that money means nothing to the media machine. They have so much money that the concept of that as a limit doesn't even make sense to them. They pay out in defamation settlements every year. They don't care. They know the cattle will keep tuning in to CNN, and they can sell more advertising space. To punish them would take Congress to impose massive fines for defamation, and why would Congress do something to help the country? Nancy Pelosi is worth like $100 million. You don't get to that level by caring about your country. You get to it by selling out. With Kyle, our chubby Mexican hero, you've got a kid on the side of law and order, and you have Antifa and BLM burning cities down. What side do you prefer? Josh Zeminski is the first felon in possession. He fires the first shot up in the air for some reason, maybe to kick this whole thing off. Rosenbaum, freshly released from the funny farm after banging little boys, starts chasing a child who then turned and defended himself. The blue check mark globalists got everything about this story wrong, and I hope they get hit in a defamation case. There are people who are just now seeing Rosenbaum get released from the mental hospital with his bag of toiletries, shampoos and toothbrush, whatever they give you when you're inside a hospital. He was inside for attempting to self-delete himself, self-harm, and he was actively looking for someone to shoot him. He was literally telling people to shoot him. Really, when you hear someone like that, you want to get away from a person like that. That's a very, very dangerous person who's who knows that their self-harm is on the table. Well, they'll do anything. The only way you can stop them is fatally. It's like, really, if you see someone like that, get away from that situation. But 17-year-old is terminally naive. 17-year-old has no idea the way of the world. So this Rosenbaum stalked a 17-year-old Kyle who was there trying to stop Antifa from burning a gas station down. Okay, so malum in se versus malum prohibita. Stalking, threatening, and chasing someone is malum in se. It means evil in and of itself, or the thing is evil. I was going to say being 17 in possession is malum prohibita, but the charge is still ongoing of being in possession, but there's a lot of back and forth on that. Anyway, it's a misdemeanor possession of a rifle underage charge, which is malum prohibita. It's a minor issue. It's prohibited to make society run smoother. I don't know what it is, but it's a small fine. It's not a big deal. From what I saw, that is really the only charge that could be valid. But even that should be dismissed because of Kyle's service to the community in deleting two communists. He should be awarded an additional carbine as a thank you. The fact that he was even charged for anything is an indication that we have a very serious schism in America. We watch the video and we see the pedo Rosenbaum chase the child who turns and deletes him. That is self-defense. It should have been, I don't know, what they call in criminal court, summary judgment or directed verdict or dismissed with prejudice. The fact that it wasn't is a bad sign for America. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all next episode.